It's NFL Week 17 player prop time, baby. We're on an 18-6 run. Let's talk some football. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I'm your host, Steven, and we are here to talk some NFL player props for Week 17. And it also happens to be our last video of the year 2023. As you guys know, we don't usually do weekend videos. I need to have a little bit of family time. But man, I already said all my thank yous, gave my long speech and all the numbers and just everything in the latest NBA video, but I will say one more time, thank you to everyone for all the support day in and day out in our first full year on the channel. It's been so much fun. It's been a dream come true. Me and Ryan have just loved every second of it. It is definitely a grind, but it's sports. So what's better than that? So thank you guys for letting us be a part of your daily routine and just for all the comments and taking time out of your day for us. So we appreciate it. Breaking news, we have a link below in the description to join and become a Jabbo MVP. That's right. You don't need the join button anymore. You should be able to get it from your cell phone. Go to the description, hit more if you need to, and there should be a link right up there on top to join and become that Jabbo MVP. Like I mentioned, it's only $2.99 a month. And if we've given you any entertainment or you've liked our videos or brought any value to you and you want to support us, that is the best way. We appreciate everyone who has already done that. But I just want to point that out. You get badges, emojis, prioritized replies, and a shout out. So that's what we got going on. But this NFL season's been fun and it's been a profitable one. As you guys know, up over 13 units so far and now on an 18-6 run in NFL player props. So let's see if we can keep it rolling. In this video, these Friday night ones with the player props are a little short and tidy. So we got a best bets, and I got 4 of them for you, plus 2 anytime touchdowns. So we got a lot to talk about, and then we recap it with the bets recap, and that's all we got. So hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We have officially hit 19,000 subscribers, on our way to 20,000. I know I wanted to reach 20,000 by the end of the year. We are not going to probably get there, but it's been pretty close, and this has been incredible. So we will reach 20,000 in January, thanks to you guys. So that's what we got going on. I'm ready to get into it. I want to talk some football. Let's get some winners, and it starts with bet number 1. All right, this first one is on Saturday Night Football between the Cowboys and the Lions. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs over 49.5 rushing yards at minus 120 on DraftKings. He is the running back for the Lions, and he is an absolute stud. Maybe one of the best running backs in the NFL. He is a rookie, and he is special if you've been watching him. He's gone over this line now in 8 of 9 games this season. Why is his total so low? I'm not exactly sure. I know he's not a guy who gets 20 carries, still splits time with Montgomery, but man, has he been good. Cowboys' run defense, they haven't been that great. They're average, maybe a little below average lately. They did decent last week against the Dolphins, but they did give up 179 rushing yards to James Cook 2 weeks before that. And overall, they give up 115.7 rush yards per game, 19th at the NFL. And the Lions, of course, are one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. Now, Gibbs, he is averaging a ridiculous 5.7 yards per carry. And like I mentioned, he does share carries with Montgomery, but that hasn't mattered. This total is still too low to me. In his last 4 games, 15 carries for 80 yards versus the Vikings, 11 for 100 versus the Broncos, 11 for 66 against Chicago, which, by the way, is a top 3, maybe top run defense in the NFL, and then 8 carries for 60 yards versus New Orleans Saints. So he's gone over this easily in the last 4, and we're talking one of them was only 8 carries. He's just absolutely explosive. Cowboys have a better pass defense than run defense, especially at home. So I expect the Lions to lean on this dominant O line. They don't want to. They want to keep that Cowboys offense off the field because they are pretty unbelievable at home. That's for sure. But like I mentioned, Gibbs makes explosive plays every single week. His longest rush the last 5 weeks: 18, 34, 36, 36, and 23. Guys, we're talking 1 to 2 long carries could get us there, or could get us very close. So he's just one of those guys that can get big chunks because of this O-line and because how elusive he is. So give me Jahmyr Gibbs on Saturday Night Football over 49.5 rush yards as bet number 1. All right, this second one takes us out to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, and it scares the living crap out of me, but we got to do it. Give me Travis, Swift, Kelsey, whatever you want to call him, over 63.5 receiving yards at minus 114 on FanDuel. He has not been very good lately. This offense has not been very good lately. One worry I have here is that he's still dating Taylor Swift because it's affecting him. It's affecting him mentally, physically, whatever it is. His head is elsewhere. But his lines were in the 80s and 90s earlier this season. This is a great buy low spot. I talk about buy low spots all the time in NBA and in the NFL. He's gone way under in the last two games. Obviously, if you're a last three kind of better only, then this isn't a bet for you, and I understand. But he's had 44 and 28 yards in the last two games versus the Patriots and the Raiders. Two defenses playing really well, obviously, right now. He's been catching a lot of short passes. He still had five catches in each game, but they've just been really, really short. Mahomes hasn't had a lot of time in the pocket either, but it's just been ugly all around. So before those two dud games, though, he did have 83, 81, and 91 receiving yards. So he is a guy who's not just completely washed up or anything like that. And now they're bringing the total all the way down to 63 and a half. Now he was pissed last game. If you heard him after the game, he was pissed. He ripped his teammate, not his teammates, but he ripped the team in general, saying he has to do better. The team has to do better. They are literally pissed off right now. And what happens when a guy's pissed off? Well, not saying this is necessarily a squeaky wheel treatment, but they're going to get him the ball. They know he's their leader on offense along with Mahomes. I think they feed him the rock early and often. And then, of course, it's the matchup. My goodness, he is playing the Cincinnati Bengals. No team has given up more yards to the tight end position than the Cincinnati Bengals. 1,023 yards to the tight end position. They just gave up 82 to Evan Ingram, 46 to Will Mallory. I don't have any freaking clue who that is, but it's not a guy who's anywhere near Travis Kelsey. And 63 to TJ Hawkinson in three of the last four games. This team can be beat in the middle of the field. I think Travis Kelsey can get it done. I think he's going to be mad. I think he's going to have a bounce back game, and he can't have a better matchup in the NFL. So give me Travis Kelsey over 63 and a half receiving yards. Maybe get Taylor Swift out of the stadium just so she's not distracting him. We need something different. But this Chiefs offense is going to come to play. So give me Kelsey as bet number two. All right, bet number three. We go back to the kickers, baby. Give me a kicker prop parlay. Who doesn't like one of those? Give me Brandon Aubrey of the Cowboys over 2.5 PATs and Chase McLaughlin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over 1.5 PATs. Put it together, you get plus 144 on DraftKings. Now, this first one, Brandon Aubrey, again, he's on the Cowboys, which means it's a Saturday night bet. It just worked out that way. I unfortunately have two bets, or at least 1.5 bets in that Saturday night game. So if you're going to tail this, make sure you get it in before then. Aubrey over 2.5 extra points. We've talked about these before. This means the Cowboys have to score 3+ touchdowns this weekend. Hash brown math, I did it. And they average, by the way, 40 freaking points at home. 40. I just need him to score three touchdowns. He's made three or more PATs in 6 of his 7 home games. 6 of 7. The Lions haven't been a very good defense this year. They've had good games and bad games. They're not great on the road. And this is not going to be a good matchup for him with how good the Cowboys play there in Dallas. I think it's a high-scoring game, as we talked about in the Wednesday night video for the game bets. By the way, go check that video out if you're looking for the game bets and not props. And then Brandon Aubrey, 42 for 45 in PATs this season. He is a very good kicker. I think the Cowboys have a chance to score 3 or possibly 4 touchdowns this game. So give me Aubrey over 2.5 extra points. The next one, Chase McLaughlin over 1.5 PATs for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This means, yes, you did the math right, the Bucs need to score 2 or more touchdowns at home versus the New Orleans Saints. Bucs offense been on a roll lately if you haven't watched them play. He has made 2+ PATs now in 8 straight games. That's right, 2 or more in 8 straight games. How about 3 or more in 4 straight games? That's how much this offense is absolutely cooking right now. And on the season, he is 32 for 32 in PATs, and he's missed 2 games. Otherwise, that would be higher. So he's not missed one yet this year. Knock on wood. And this Tampa Bay offense is rolling. These two separately are just too high of odds. So I like them put together plus 144 as bet number 3. And let's move on to the fourth and final bet. All right, this fourth bet and final one before we get into the anytime touchdowns is a ladder alert, baby. That's right. Give me DeAndre Swift over 66.5 rush yards at minus 114 on FanDuel. I am putting a half unit on this because I'm going to ladder it all the way up to 100+ yards. I'll mention that in the end of this video to let you know exactly how I'm breaking my 1 unit up. But this is all about this awful Cardinals rush defense. They've given up the second most rush yards to the running back position, 1,851 yards. I should have been taking every running back against them every single week for the last month. I don't know what I've been thinking. Cardinals last 5 games, 112 rushing yards given up to Khalil Herbert. That's right. And also 97 rush yards to Justin Fields in that game. 115 to Christian McCaffrey, 63 to Najee Harris, and 59 to Jalen Warren for a total of 121 rushing yards to the Steelers. 143 to Kyron Williams, 112 to Devin freaking Singletary. Guys, they have been absolutely lit up. And DeAndre Swift, he's been consistently getting some volume lately. 20 and 18 carries the last two games. And in those two, he had 92 and 74 rush yards. He's averaging a solid 4.6 yards per carry this season. And to go with that, the Cardinals are giving up almost 5 yards per carry to the running backs. He will need probably about 14, 15 carries to just hit this on average if everything is just average. You go by how much the Cardinals give up and how much he's had. But the Cardinals defense is worse than that in the last 5 games. They're not giving up only 4.8 or so yards per carry. They're giving up much more. So I think he gets 100 or more in this one, honestly. Cardinals defense literally just Swiss cheese, just holes all over the place. And that's why I'm going to ladder it. So the first part of this bet is what I mentioned. DeAndre Swift over 66.5 rush yards at minus 114. I'm going to put a half unit on that. And then I'm going to put a half unit on the 80 plus yards. And then the final one is half unit on the over 66 and a half rush yards, a quarter unit on 80 plus rush yards, and a quarter unit on 100 plus rush yards. 80 plus yards you can get at plus 145 right now on FanDuel, and 100 plus is plus 285. So that's the breakdown. You'll see it on the bets recap as well. I'm just spreading out my one unit for him to get even more because I think there's a lot of value to be had here. If they can keep it somewhat competitive, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to continue to get carries, but the game script in this game, I mean, the Eagles should be ahead. They should be up early and often, which means more carries, more running. They don't want to hurt Jalen Hurts back there. And so give me DeAndre Swift laddering all the way up to 100 or more yards as my fourth and final bet. And before we get into the anytime touchdowns, let's check out the free square with Thrive. There it is. The free square is Justin Jefferson over a half a receiving yard on Sunday Night Football. If you are not familiar with Thrive Fantasy, they are eligible in over 30 states, and they have an incredible sign-up bonus where you get a 100% first deposit match up to $250. They are handing you free money. You just have to use the promo code JABO to get it. And then on top of that, they give you this free square as one of the legs of your first parlay. You do not have to spend $250 in your first parlay, but they are going to give you that much if that's how much you deposit. So use Justin Jefferson, add it to another player prop that we just gave out in this video or something that you like. You can make a 2-leg parlay, 3, 4, or 5. There are the payouts right there. It's a great deal, guys. You can really get that bank account up or that account up pretty quickly on that one. They give you $250 and you win your first 2-legger or 3-legger. It's huge. So you got to go join, but you got to use the promo code JABO. And that's our partner, Thrive Fantasy. They've been great to work with, so check them out. All right, back to the bets. All right, we got 2 anytime touchdown bets this weekend. I'm not going to go 1 unit. I'm going to go 2 that are half unit, and we got some juicy odds. That's right. We're going to take some chances this week because anytime touchdowns are hard to pick. First one, DJ Chark of the Carolina Panthers, anytime touchdown, plus 500 on DraftKings. Plus 500, guys, our biggest one of the year. Obviously, it's a long shot. Okay, you don't need to get upset if a plus 500 bet does not hit, but I think this has a decent chance. First, he's playing his former team in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Motivation will be there. The team will want to get him involved, get him a touchdown. And second, all of a sudden, he's one of the top receivers there, at least last week. It's only 1 week, but he had 6 catches for 98 yards. And get this, 2 freaking touchdowns. Now, do I think he's going to get 2 touchdowns again? Probably not. If you want to sprinkle on it, you can. Those odds are going to be astronomical. But he has 5 touchdowns on the season. I do like what the Panthers offense did a little bit in that second half last week. They used him a lot more. They got Bryce Young running around the field a little bit more, not just stationary in the pocket. And I think he has a chance, guys. Like I said, it's his former team. He just scored 2 touchdowns. He had 6 catches. Why not take a chance on something like this, especially when he's facing the Jaguars team, who's given up the 5th most touchdowns to the wide receivers position this year with 17. So it's a great matchup. And if they continue to use him like they did last week, then I think we're getting just ridiculously good value on a guy who could be one of the highest targeted receivers on the team. So other than that, I know the odds are high also because the Panthers don't score a lot of touchdowns. So I do get that. But again, we're talking plus 500. That is my first anytime touchdown bet. Let's move on to the second one. All right, this second one, Justin Fields of Dreams for the Chicago Bears, anytime touchdown at plus 200. He's a quarterback, if you don't know that already, but he has 2 rushing touchdowns in 2 of the last 3 games. He's facing the Falcons, who have given up 5 rushing touchdowns to quarterbacks, which is the third most in the NFL. I know 5 doesn't sound like a lot, but it's still something, and it is the third most in the NFL. Falcons also have a pretty good pass defense, and so I think he's going to have a hard time when he gets to the red zone finding open receivers, which means he could use his legs more. But I can see that I'm watching the Bears games every once in a while, and I'm seeing them use his legs a little bit more. And they need to if they want to win games. They've been very competitive and playing good football. So on a guy who has been known to use his legs and score quite a bit of touchdowns in his early career already, I love the value here at plus 200 for Fields to get into the end zone. And those are my two anytime touchdown bets. Again, I'm only putting a half unit on those. Now, let's wrap all this info up and check out the bets recap. All right, we start with Jameer Gibbs on Saturday Night Football of the Lions, over 49.5 rush yards at minus 120. That's also a guy that I wouldn't mind laddering as well. Travis Kelsey over 63.5 receiving yards, minus 114. Yes, bet at your own risk. He hasn't been great in the last couple weeks. Neither has the Chiefs offense, but I think it's a bounce back week for him. The third one, the kicker parlay, Brandon Aubrey of the Cowboys over 2.5 extra points, and Chase McLaughlin of the Buccaneers over 1.5 PATs at plus 144 on DraftKings. And then the latter bet of the weekend, DeAndre Swift over 66.5 rush yards at minus 114. I'm putting a half unit on that. I'm going to take 80 plus rush yards at a quarter unit at plus 145 and 100 plus rush yards at plus 285 for another quarter unit, just breaking up my one unit. Again, this is just what I'm doing. You guys feel free to do whatever you want. I just want to give you the info to help you guys make the best decision you can for your bets. Anytime touchdown bets, 2 half unit plays. Give me DJ Chark for the Carolina Panthers at plus 500 and Justin Fields at plus 200. I just need one of those two hit to have a profitable weekend in the anytime touchdown. So those are the week 17 player props and the final video of 2023. I'm not going to get emotional here on camera, but it has been a wild journey and a lot of fun in this first full year. So I hope everyone has a safe and happy holidays over the weekend. Enjoy your New Year's Eve. For those of you that stay up till midnight, I don't know if we're going to. I know my wife won't make it. But anyways, hope you guys have fun. Appreciate all the support. Enjoy some football this weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.